Hello, and thank you for tuning in to this week's MacDesk Floor Report. I'm Rebecca Darst from the Market Access Center, bringing you the latest market action every week from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Today we close the book on the month of February, and after several volatile sessions at the start of the week, we're ending the month with a whimper. The Dow is up about 18 points right now, just over 4 points in the S&P on light volume in all listed names. Leadership is coming from telecommunications and basic material stocks, while technology is a laggard, with weakness coming out of the software space today. Looking at the action overnight, Asian stocks closed in roundly positive territory, with Tokyo's Nikkei index leading the pack on the strength of a better than expected manufacturing PMI number, as well as the nomination of Haruhiko Kuroda as the next governor of the Bank of Japan. Kuroda currently heads up the Asian Development Bank. European stocks closed in higher territory for a second straight day, although Italian stocks lagged most of the broader market overnight as that country struggles to assemble a coalition government. German unemployment figures came out a little better than expected, while a revised reading of Spain's Q4 GDP came in a little worse than expected. Here in the U.S., the second reading on Q4 economic growth came in at positive 0.1%, compared to a previous read of negative 0.1%. So it was a turn into the black, although a little bit short of market expectations. We continue to follow developments in the VIX closely today. The volatility index spiked early in the week, testing a reading of 19 on Monday following the Italian election result, but it's since retraced sharply back below the 15 level, and we've been seeing VIX option traders taking large positions in April calls off the table throughout the week, but adding new positions in the March contract. So there's still a volatility trade out there that suggests traders are likely to remain very nimble over the next couple of weeks. Now let's take a look at the calendar of global macro data releases likely to move next week's tape. On Monday, March 4th, we'll get things started with the Eurozone Centix investor confidence number for March. Looking at a prior reading of negative 3.9, Bloomberg's median expectation of analysts surveyed calls for a softer number this time, around negative 5.4. We've also got a February Purchasing Managers Index reading out of the UK, January producer prices from the Eurozone, and here in New York, the February ISM Purchasing Managers Survey of current business conditions. Earnings season is winding to a close, although we will look for numbers out of Arena Pharmaceuticals and Boyd Gaming. On Tuesday, we've got a string of February PMI services numbers out of Italy, France, Germany, the UK, and the composite Eurozone, along with January Eurozone retail sales. U.S. data includes the February ISM non-manufacturing composite release. The prior reading came in at 55.2. The market is looking for an inline number this time around. And we'll have earnings from Verifone Systems and Infinity Pharmaceuticals. On Wednesday, March 6th, we'll kick things off with a second read on Eurozone Q4 GDP, and we'll have a rate announcement from the Bank of Canada, along with Canada's IV Purchasing Managers Index for the month of February. Here in the New York pre-market, we'll be looking at MBA mortgage applications for the week of March 1, January factory orders, the February ADP employment change, and the release of the Fed Beige Book later in the day. Earnings will be out from American Eagle, PetSmart, Big Lots, Staples, Hovnanian, and Dynegy Energy. Thursday, March 7th brings Japan's January leading and coincident index of business cycle indicators. The Bank of England and ECB will make rate announcements, with Britain's central bank also announcing its March asset purchase target. Investors will be looking at a veritable data dump ahead of the U.S. Open, with February challenger job cuts, the March RBC Consumer Outlook Index, and January trade balance, along with February non-farm productivity, unit labor costs, and the weekly initial and continuing claims. Earnings will be out from Smithfield Foods, Kroger, H&R Block, Pandora, and Ciena. Finally, on Friday, we've got an overnight release out of Japan with the final read on that country's Q4 GDP, January current balance, and February bank lending number. Germany will release its February wholesale price index and January industrial production. Canada will release February housing starts, Q4 labor productivity, and February employment numbers. And we got a big jobs number out here in the U.S., this being the February change in non-farm payrolls, along with earnings from Foot Locker and Inc., Carnival Corp, Navistar International, and KBW. We will be watching all of the action as it unfolds here on the floor of the exchange, so be sure to check your inbox for the midday every day at 1 p.m. And check us out again next Thursday for the MacDesk Floor Report.